What it is, what is up, what is good, gamers? This is Shonuff71, aka Diggadulamite.
Purple bling bling, y'all.
And your auditory canals are tuned into episode 248 of the Gaming Vessels podcast. Of course, I'm not in the digital studio alone. Along with me, got my partners in crime. First on deck, Dez, aka the Bay Area Terror, aka the High Res Lover or
That's
Hater.
Me. That's me.
AKA the Cat Daddy, AKA that Gamer Stepdaddy. What's going on?
Not much, actually. Just sitting there thinking about how am I feeling today? Am I a hater or am I happy? I don't know. So get back at me a little bit later and I'll tell you.
The bipolar gamer.
There you go. There you go.
And of course, our show's a no-go without Trader Joe, aka Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of gaming, who could maximize your gaming dollar. How's it going?
It's going good. Glad to be back. I know we didn't record for a week because I went up and did some Memorial Day shenanigans up at the Desmond household on there. So enjoyed that quite a bit. So glad to be back on the podcasting horse. I made an appearance on the evening news. So that's up in my life, So
Yeah, y'all. Joe, y'all didn't know Joe's a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm ready for Twitch now. I got my ready for my streamer paradise with the elderly gamer known as Jabroni Chief. So
Elderly gamer.
Elderly gamer. Okay.
The AARP gamer.
Yeah.
Know it.
Elderly gamer. That is Joe.
Yes.
I can see it.
Geriatric gaming.
There you go.
Geriatric gaming. There's probably older gamers that just would say, "Eat my dust, youngster." So
Probably.
yeah. Now I know that there's that one YouTuber, Food for Dogs, out of New Zealand, that she's like in her, I think, early 70s, man, and she is awesome actually. So
She's out there living her best life, huh?
you got it, yeah. Playing all those JRPGs she loves. So
For her.
yeah.
Yeah, that's something that we can all try to aspire to.
Yeah, because when I retire, what am I going to do? I'll be doing Gaming Vessels episode 1200 or something. So we'll see.
I don't know about all that, sir.
Much to Dez's chagrin because he has to edit. So
My old fingers
Forever
trying to
editing.
edit. Yeah, my old
maybe
fingers
you're
are
gonna have to like Mr. Miyagi. They're gonna replace Mr. Miyagi.
There'll be AI that could do that by that time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, what is always our first topic on the docket? We're moving in first to the playlist. All right, let's start with Dez. What you been playing, man?
What have I been playing? A bunch of stuff, actually. I have really, I don't know why, I just really sort of got into really trying a bunch of different games recently. So a couple games that I have played that are in my normal wheelhouse is Diablo 4. Still playing Diablo 4. The new season came out, and it's actually pretty good. People have been saying that it's like the Diablo that they wanted, from the beginning and blah, blah, blah. And I know a lot of it is because you can level up a little bit faster, and the aspects and the gear you get and how you roll your gear and what you can do with your gear has gotten a lot better. So people are feeling that the game is not as punishing as it was before. Personally, I didn't really think it was that punishing, mainly because I mean, people are going to freak out about this, but I actually played it for the story. So I didn't do any of the nightmare dungeons or anything like that. So I'm not a score chaser, leaderboard chaser, or anything like that. So I played it for the story. And once I was done with the story, I was kind of done with it. So now people are saying the season's great. You should try it. And so I went back to it, and I have to say, contrary to what you think about Blizzard, Diablo 4 is a pretty good game, especially now. It's doing a lot of fun stuff that that just is refreshing, you know? So I'm enjoying my time with it. And every now and then I'll hop in with Joe, who's been playing that, and I know Joe needs to get through it because he has not
I never beat the campaign.
yeah, I never beat the campaign. So I'm, hoping that I can at least help him with that a little bit. That way he has, a little bit more fun with the game as far as the story. But I know that Joe is going to talk about it in his playlist. But yeah, I'm still enjoying it. I have been playing Miasma Chronicles, and that seems to be my go-to game right now. It's just been a lot of fun. Does it take itself too seriously? No. It has a dramatic story that I think is great. I think the combat is fun. It's that XCOM light combat. The story is definitely not generic. It takes a lot of different inspirations. It's sort of Star Wars. It's sort of, I don't know. It's sort of Star Wars. It's a little bit all over the place. And I'm okay with that. Yeah. I don't really want to spoil it because Joe wants to play it because I've been having so much fun, and so now I guess Joe's going to try to play it. So, which I think it's great, but there's just a lot of stuff going on in it, and I think the combat encounters are fun. There's multiple ways to play the game. I think it's fun. You have a stealthy character, and there's like two different things. It's like you have a pregame where you run around and you kind of pick off the little ones, the little guys that you can pick off silently, and then you engage the rest of the horde. And so once you learn how the game wants you to play, it's a lot easier than just rushing in, guns blaring. But you can't do that. You can make the game more tactical by just going in and just killing everything and not doing the kind of pre-scouting. So you can definitely decide how you want to play the game and interact with the game, and I think it's fun. The story, again, it's interesting. It kind of is coming off like a Sci-Fi Channel story, which is definitely not bad.
Probably better than Outriders, right?
No, I think it's on par with Outriders. I think.
Oh, okay.
I think both of the stories are kind of similar, with it. By similar, I mean in the kind of, not similarities in like scenes and what happens, just the level of quality is kind of like Outriders. This is definitely a AA game, and for what the studio is trying to do, I think they did really well. I know people were super harsh on this game, but I don't know why they were super harsh on the game. I thought it was fun. I think it is fun, and that's why I keep going back to it and playing it. So this is definitely a game that I'm going to beat. I know I said the same thing about Immortals of Avium. I'm definitely going to go back to that game as well. It's just that game is much more pick up and play. This game is just, I don't know, it's just making that impact on me. So, but I love those D-level games. So this is the game that I'm going to be playing for a minute. I also started a multiplayer session with Baldur's Gate 3 with some friends of mine, and they are jokers, meaning that it's a very comical playthrough. So they're doing a lot of dumb stuff, in the game. So while it is a fun time spending time with them and hanging out, it's definitely not a serious campaign that we're running with it. And while it's fun hanging out with them and playing that game, I do want to play it again with a much more serious set of friends, because they are doing like really silly stuff. They're like making combat encounters a little bit more chaotic than they need to be. So, which is fun. Don't get me wrong. Like you have to get in that mindset. But once I'm in that mindset and I'm able to do that with them, it's a lot of fun. But I do want to play like a more traditional one. So hopefully, when Joe finally gets his physical copy, we can actually play, because I know Goonie was talking about it, and you can play up to 4 people with it. And the multiplayer is surprisingly quick, because even though there is initiative, you kind of do your stuff, and if you're playing with 4 people, you all do your stuff when you do your stuff when you want to do it, and you can combine your attacks and whatnot. One person can go and say, I'm going to do this, and then the other person does their reaction or something like that. So there's a little bit more tactics with it. Or if you have a third, only have 3 people, you can bring along one of the other characters as your 4th companion, and then you control that person in combat. So it's actually pretty fun, and I have really discovered a new found love for that game as well. So I am looking forward to getting back into it. So if any of our listeners wants to play that game with me, I'm here for it. I think it would be a really fun time. Another game that I've been playing is Megaton Musashi Wired. We talked about that last time, and I think I talked about it last time. But anyway, it's a level 5 game that was based on an anime in Japan, and I don't know, I don't know what's going on with Level 5. I really like them as a company, and I like the games that they create, but either their marketing team or something, or their publishing team, the publishing arm of them, they just don't know how to push their games. So Megaton Musashi is an anime. They had a game, going with it, and then after that, it kind of just kind of went the way of the dodo. Like it did too much in, like it wasn't really big. I mean, it was sort of big in Japan, and they released the game. Then they released an online version of the game, and the online version of the game, you would go in, and it was on mobile and stuff like that, and it was a free-to-play online game. And then they basically bundled all that together and then released it in America as Megaton Musashi W Wired, and that is the original game, the mobile game, packaged together and then released here to try to see how it would work. And it's an interesting story. You're a young pilot, and your memory has been erased because the Earth has been attacked by this evil mechs and this evil queen who wants to take over. Okay, and you have these memories about something happening, and then you it's sort of like the Last Starfighter, where they had the video game cabinet, and you'd play the video game, and then someone, if you got a high score, someone would come and recruit you to fight the real game in the future. It's sort of like that mixed with Ender's Game. And so when you figure out what's going on, you're on a space station. Last vestige of humanity is on a space station, and once your memories are given back to you, you realize that 5 years ago the aliens attacked, and now you fly around in these giant mechs destroying them, and that's it. You go into these little mech arenas, and you destroy other mechs, these alien mechs, as the story is going, and it's sort of episodic because it follows the anime. And it's really kind of cool because the depth in which you can customize your mech is amazing. Every mission you go on, you get like a boatload of parts that you can retrofit onto your Megaton. They're called rogues, I think. Onto your mech, basically your rogue, and it's really, really fun. Changing it up and changing it out, and the weapons you get, the arms, the legs, the heads, the microchips to make your characters faster. It's fantastic. And then you can switch out the characters, because each of the characters has piloting skills that you can utilize in game. So you don't have to play the main character. You can play one of the side characters as your main and get their abilities. So it's got a lot more depth than I was expecting. It is a multiplayer game from what I understand, and it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. I think they charge a little bit too much for it. It's a $60 game, which probably should have been like $40, but I went ahead and paid it.
It's $49.99 actually for the base. So.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
And no, it's okay. I bought it as well, but I haven't had an opportunity to play it yet. But I just want to throw that out just in case anyone's interested. So
yeah. So I got the mega deal one. So I think that's probably why.
You got the deluxe? Okay.
Oh yeah. I like level 5, and I really think for whatever reason they're trying to get that thing that sticks, and and I've really enjoyed it so far. So I've been playing it, and it's been fun.
Yeah, it's also on Switch and Steam as well, just in case to throw that out there. So
Yep. So definitely go in. It's not going to push your hardware too hard. So definitely go in there and try it. I think you'll like it. And lastly, I got a game from Thunderful, which is and I thought it was very funny, which was Curious Expedition 2, and I got all of the DLC and everything for like $7, and it's great. If you're ever familiar with the game, or sorry, with the comic strip 1010 and that art style, that's basically the art style, and you literally just go on adventures in like 18th century France. You're part of an explorers club, and you go out to these different islands, and you meet people on the island. You find weird stuff on the island, and you have the sanity meter, and the sanity meter is what you use in order to walk, because it takes mental power in order to be out away from your home and to explore islands. And so if it ever reaches 0, you die, your party dies. And so, that's pretty much what it is. And it's a dice-based system. When you meet people, you try to negotiate with them. You can bring other people along. You have 3 people you can bring on, then you can recruit a 4th person. And you basically set sail, and it's really kind of fun. It's a side-scrolling kind of game, and when you're on the overmap, you're kind of, your meebles kind of walk around as you're looking around, and you can go to, meet indigenous people, fight crazy stuff, and you can destroy islands by accident if you want, so it's actually pretty fun. It's been pretty fun so far. I went on one adventure, and you can set the difficulty however you want, and you can set what happens if you lose. If you lose an adventure, one of the things is nothing happens. You just start back in France, in Paris. The middle one is the party dies and you get to pick a new party, or the third one is like Iron Man or Woman Challenge, where like the whole save gets killed and you have to start over completely. So anything you've unlocked or got, goes away. So I picked the middle one because I'm not a masochist, and it's been pretty fun. It's on sale right now on PlayStation, on the PSN network. It's on sale for like $7, and it's a fun little game. It doesn't ask a lot of you. It's very simple. It's very bright and colorful. I think Thunderful is a fantastic company. They're the ones that did the Muck and the Dig World series. And funny, if you get the main game with all of the DLC, you get some of the Steam World heist characters as people that you can pick, and some people from their other games as well. So it's a fun little game, and I really think that you should check it out. It doesn't ask for much, $7. Not seriously, it's like $6.43 or something, and you get all that content. It's really worth it. So I've had a good time with the games that I've been playing. And with that, I'm going to kick it over to Joe, because I know Joe has been playing a lot of the same games that I have been, especially, mainly just Diablo 4. But Joe, how has your gaming been for the last week or two?
yeah, last week or two been pretty good. Usual stuff. I haven't like deviated from my normals. Unfortunately, I picked up a long-standing game I've been meaning to play, and I only play it when I travel, and I need to kind of rectify that. So when I was traveling to your place and back, I played exclusively on the Steam Deck Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, which is the first in that particular series, in that Legend of Heroes series. So
that's on sale right now.
Yeah. I went ahead. I think I described in the prior episode. I went ahead. There's like this campaign to basically go into the Steam version and splice in a bunch of the Japanese voice acting from the Windows port that they made back in 2017. And it was super easy to do, to be able to go in and just add the voice track, because basically it adds voices to every line of dialogue in the entire game, where before the translation was basically based on the English translation of the PSP version that came out way back in the day. So obviously, it just depends. The English voice cast I was used to, but it wasn't fully voiced, and so this version is fully voiced. And so I've been getting way into it. I was way into it, but the thing about it is, once I got back from your place came back on the train on Monday. I have not fired up my Steam Deck yet, but I'm looking to rectify that. I got to get in some better behaviors to be able to enjoy that besides traveling. I wish I kind of took a train to work every day to be able to go and bust that thing out. I just got to find some time, maybe on the couch or in bed, to be able to play some portable gaming at least a little bit. So I also brought my Switch with me. I got it all ready to go with all the games I got from Japan, but I did not touch that thing for 1 second. So. But as far as games I have been playing, like Desmond alluded to in his what you've been playing playlist, I've been playing a lot of Diablo 4. So I basically started my characters from scratch, and so I first started off with Barbarian because hey, that's what I usually play, and so after that it just seemed like okay, it's like even though I was following a guide as far as the build guide. I kind of told myself, hey, I want to maybe try a more of a rogue type character. So I did go ahead and I started playing the rogue a little bit. So I am using a guide to use what they call the penetrating shot rogue on there.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. So, much more so that got me off of Tiny Tina's for a little bit. But I've been playing a little Tiny Tina still as well, because that's a game where, I've been on it for a while and I still have been dabbling with it. I finally got past this particular level that I've been trying to min-max on it. I pretty much, it's the one, if you played the game where basically the whole entire world got uprooted by a beanstalk. And
Yep.
so, that particular level just had tons of like places where you could fall off the edge of the world. And so, I pretty much got this thing done. It's basically the level that's called Tangle Drift on there.
I remember.
And Tangle Drift, unfortunately, is very confusing sometimes in the way the map is laid out as far as where you need to go to get to the destination. There's not a lot of warp points. And I'm at the point where I basically have done everything in that level except for there's one lucky dice out there that I'm 20 of 21. And so part of me is debating, okay, do I get a guide and look for all 21 spots to find the one missing dice, or I'm just going to move the F on and get to the next level and proceed. So it's like, if I get a wild hair up my ass and decide to go ahead, I want to find that last die. But, in the end, it doesn't really matter. But it's like, I'm not sure if I want to go for a platinum trophy in this particular instance or not, My backlog is screaming at me to tell me to don't worry about it. So I also jumped back into, of all things, Division 2. And I did that because our new Tuesday game night, we were joined by our listener, Goonie. And we pretty much, I at least got in even after Goonie was given the business to both, Dez and also on the Discord, Kevin, a little bit about playing Division 2, because Division 2 was nothing that Kev ever played, but it was me, Dez, and John BT, another listener of the show, on there. But, basically he kind of ran me through the, last season, the manhunt for Kelso, and get to see the kind of the end of that, at least before that season ended. So, yeah, right now I think they're doing Golden Gun on there, and they're leading into year 6, and so it's like I got back into, got a little taste, It's like going back to your crack dealer and getting a little baggie of magic dust or something. So it felt good to go back in. I was playing on hard, not on challenging, and I didn't have any modifiers on, so it just kind of felt nice, easy breezy division combat, So. I am definitely going to check out year 6, especially if there is going to be a new DLC coming out for it. I might go back in and see if I could run some of the previous manhunts to kind of fill in the story a little bit. I know what happened to Fei Lao, but I don't know what caused her to go 3 sheets to the wind, so it might be something for me to dive into. But, there's quite a bit of other games I want to get into, but we'll see. Megaten Musashi W is on my list because I want to play multiplayer with Dez before he moves on from the game. So that will be something I'll be trying to play as well. So, and Tuesday game night went off pretty well. I still want people to know that we did make the switch. So if you want to join us at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll be there for you to play. So, Kev, what you been up to? What you been playing?
So the only thing that that I've been playing lately has been, when I have time, is Dragon's Dogma 2. Last night I opened up the Wayfarer the Wayfarer job. I don't think it's called Wayfarer. I think it's called something else, but I'm probably getting that. It starts with a W. I know that, and it has the word way in it. But basically, it's like it turns you into like a jack of all trades, master of none. The guides all say that it's OP, and I think you're better off. It's just my opinion. I think you're better off just focusing, staying with a master skill, and just sticking with it. Because what I thought it would do was let you access all the skills of whatever weapon that you have equipped. Once you get the job classification, you get the master spell behind it. Once you use the master spell, it opens up this thing called rearm, and it lets you switch between up to, I think it's 6 different weapons. But the problem is that between those 6 weapons, you have to share the same 4 skill slots. And one of those skill slots is going to be taken up by the rearm skill, which allows you to switch between everything. So you tap the rearm skill, and it'll switch between whatever weapon that you've determined in your menu, what order you want them to be in. And it would be better if it would let you use any of the core skills, the inherent skills that you get from all the classes, and that you could just pick the ones that you've opened up. But it doesn't let you do that. You can only access those core skills if you have that weapon accessed. So, like, one of the weaknesses of the Mystic Archer is that it doesn't have good defense when you're in close quarters. But the Archer has a couple of moves that they can do that can, if enemy gets close to you, that you can do to kind of create space between you and the enemy. You can only use those inherited skills if you have the bow equipped. If you have the mystic bow equipped, you can't use them. You can only use the core skills associated with the mystic archer. And I don't know. I mean, it's okay. I'm using it now. I'm probably going to max it out, but I don't think I'm going to finish the game with it. I'm either going to finish the game with either Mystic Archer or Mystic Spearhand, one or the other, because I like both of those, and I have both of them maxed out right now. But using Wayfarer, you have, and all the guys say, well, you're maximizing the use of the job class if you have 3 if you're carrying 3 weapons. I disagree with that entirely. I think you have to have 2. You can only use 2 because, again, you don't get additional slots to use for your weapon skills. You have to still share the same 4 slots. So with one of them being taken up with the rearm ability, that leaves you with 3 that you have to split between all the weapons that you have equipped on this job class. So I'm using right now, I'm using Mystic Spearhand and Mystic Archer. I only use the Mystic Spearhand to create the barrier that surrounds me and the pawns. So if I'm fighting a major boss, I can keep them protected and do a lot of damage up close. And then when distance is created, I can switch to Mystic Archer and then kind of take them out at range. But I don't think I'm going to stick with it. I'm just gonna max out the skill just because every skill I've used I've maxed out. So I'll do it with this one, but I'm not going to finish the game with it. I did fight. Well, I fought dragons before, and it either ended up with me getting killed or me having to run away because I wasn't high enough level. But now I'm high enough level to fight him, so I fought my first one and killed it. Although I think, excuse me, I think what wound up happening is I think the death blow was I think he dealt to itself.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I think because the way the dragons fight is they create these they set traps for you, these magic traps for you. Like there's the lightning trap, and then there's the fire trap, and then when they're on the ground and they start spitting fire at you. Well, it had set like all of these fire traps on the ground, and I had it literally down to a sliver of health. And by the way, these dragons have like 6 or 7 health bars. So fighting them, it takes a while, unless you're doing direct damage to their weak point, which is the cavity that's in their chest, because all the dragons have an assigned arisen to them. I guess they don't have hearts, but there's this void where their hearts were. If you attack that area, you do all kinds of crazy damage. So it was like literally down to, there was like no health. Like if it tripped, it would have died. And I think what wound up happening is that I had given my, I had the Mystic Archer equipped, and there is a barrier that you can use with the Mystic Archer that, although it protects your pawns, if they get attacked, the barrier explodes and it basically doubles the damage dealt. So if your pawn gets hit for 100 points damage, then it deals back 200 points damage. And I think that's what happened because I had slapped the barrier on my main pawn, who right now I have equipped as warrior class. And I think what happened is the dragon tried to smack it with its tail, and it had that barrier on. So whatever damage that tail whip attack does, it was doubled. And I think that's what killed him.
Yikes.
Yeah, so,
I mean, hey.
But yeah, that's kind of been when I have time to game. That's what I have been playing these last week. I even haven't really messed with Helldivers 2 that much. It's just been whenever the console gets turned on, I'm playing through Dragon's Dogma 2. I think if I had to guess, I think I'm approaching the end game. I think. I'm not 100% sure. I know I have like one. Well, I've been doing a lot of side quests. I have of the main story points, I only have one that's active. So unless that creates some other things that I need to do, I think I'm on that last beat before I wrap up the game. But it was a slow burn, but right now, even with the slow burn and not holding your hand and kind of like the weird way to me it started, right now it's my game of the year right now. Even over Stellar Blade and some of the other games that I've played.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the gameplay loop really is addictive. I think I'm not going to do an immediate replay. I'm not even really going to mess with New Game Plus after I wrap up the game. I kind of want to go and start playing something in my backlog. I want to go back to Helldivers 2 and pick something in my backlog. I might actually just start playing Tekken, and because I keep promising myself I'm going to get back into that game, but I something else keeps distracting me. So I'm probably going to get into one of my fighting games, and maybe a smaller single player game that's not too in depth, and just kind of roll with that for a while. And then probably my next big game I'm going to jump into is probably going to take on the Final Fantasy games. I have the prequel to the to Rebirth and to Remake and Rebirth. I'm going to play that. I've already played Remake, so I'm not going to replay that again. But I'm going to go from I'm going to give that series the attention that it's long since deserved. I think that's going to be the next major game games I start playing. But that's what I've been up to this past week or so. So we're going to move on from that to our next topic on the docket, and that's going to be the vessel line. So Des, passing the mic to you, bro.
Alrighty. So the vessel line is basically, if for all of you new listeners, I hope there's a bunch of you, the vessel line basically is just we ask a question in our main event, and in the vessel line we give a chance for our listeners to write us in our Discord, or send us an email, or let us know their thoughts on a particular question that we asked during our main event. So the question that we asked is, what plans do you have for your hot gaming summer coming up? Diving into your backlog, what games are on your radar to buy or play? And we got a couple of responses. First response comes from our longtime listener, Chase, who wrote, backlog for sure, but I know I'll be diving into the final shape as well. I've been playing Destiny since beta, so I'd at least like to see this story play out. I am planning a Super Bowl-like party for the Summer Games Fest, though. So, Joe, as someone who basically has said that you absolutely adore, and it's like one of your favorite games of all, are you going to be diving back into Destiny as well? Could you possibly be playing with Chase?
Basically, I've downloaded the game. It's on my PS5, and I'm not buying the new hotness. I know what the latest PlayStation Plus from last month that they had Lightfall as a free title, so it's tempting to jump back in, especially if you remember a couple episodes ago I talked about that loot balance that they're going to implement with the launch of the new game, which is going to be out on Tuesday. So if I could go through my vault and not have to worry about breaking everything down, and to be able to maybe go through the story content, might be a thing for me to do. Problem is I'm also playing Diablo 4 and trying to finish Tiny Tina's, so it's like it's like too many things. It's like I can't juggle them all at once, especially these big single player, or in the Destiny's case multiplayer, and Diablo 4's case multiplayer as well. Just big engrossing games. So that is my long grandiose answers to say wait and see if I actually get the gumption up to actually fire it up or not. So
yeah, and are we having a Super Bowl party for the Summer Games Fest, Joe?
We're probably going to do a watch party on the Discord, just like we did for the State of Play. So I actually took the day off of work. Back in the day, meaning like about 5 years ago, I used to take the entire E3 week off. Obviously I don't go to E3 anymore. I've been to E3 before, but I've always usually have taken that whole entire week off to just kind of veg and absorb all the gaming. In fact, Kev could attest because sometimes I go over to his house and we would sit there and be like Siskel and Ebert, like be critical of everything, being shown, taking a look at all the executives and Keeley, of course, the ageless wonder, because all that Mountain Dew and Doritos, that's the fountain of youth right there. So
leave that poor man alone.
Preservatives.
Leave that poor man alone. He's trying to save gaming.
Preservatives.
With preservatives? Is that what you're trying to say?
Good old Dorito Pope himself, but nah. Great on Chase for having a little party, especially with the Summer Games thing. I mean, I even was joking with Dez about, hey, let's drive down to LA and watch Keeley in person. So, but no. I don't know if I'd ever want to, one, take the time to drive all down there, and two, to be able to see the glorious man in person.
I mean, if you have to pay for tickets.
Yeah, you'd have to pay to go watch it live. Yeah, it's at the Peacock Theater. It used to be Microsoft Theaters. That's downtown LA. So. Kind of in the same area where E3 was at, so LA Convention Center, right near the Staples Center or whatever they call it now. So,
I mean, to be completely honest with you, I might want to go only to see what the noise is, just to say like I've been to it once. Like I'm always down for new experiences, So even then, I might actually go in and be all like, hey, I went to it, it was fun, I did my thing. And I'd have to go to it again. It really depends on the price of it. Like if it's a super outrageous to get a ticket to that, then no.
I think it's like $30-$40, I think so.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, maybe next year. Who knows? But I do think. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you live in a major area, they have had theater showings before. So I don't know if you want to go see Keeley in IMAX. Be able to sit there and endure, sit through the Summer Games Fest like all 3-4 hours, whatever it is. In a theater,
Oh, I'm perfectly happy to do that from the comfort of my own home.
There you go.
That way I can fast forward through the stuff I don't care about.
You make a good point, my friend. You make a good point. So
imagine watching, the Game Awards on a movie theater where you can't bypass the musical acts, but you can see like Bill Clinton kid on the big screen though. Imagine that.
I don't think Bill Clinton. I don't think he's gonna be there. I think.
Oh, I know. But imagine if you did pay to go see it in a theater and you got to see Bill Clinton kid,
and he just gets in
like on the big screen,
just to watch him get kicked out. That'd be kind of fun, actually. I'd be like, oh, go on, Bill Clinton kid.
You never know what's going to happen on the Game Awards. You never know.
Never know. You never, ever know. And our last comment came from another longtime listener, Goonie, who says, I can't think of too much that I'm looking forward to that has a set release date other than Astro and maybe Star Wars Outlaws, like Massive as developers, but expectations are limited by Ubisoft and how they'll monetize the game. Avowed and Plucky Squire are still to be determined. Other games I'm looking forward to are 2025 or beyond. There is one light major grind I have left. Last. Thank you. There is one last major grind I have left in Division 2. Weapon expertise. That'll probably take a month or two to finish up. So Goonie, there's an ending in sight. There's hope. Ooh.
Well, I don't know. He's like min-maxing everything, so he wants to get the weapon expertise up to the max.
Yeah, he is.
Take it to the max.
He is wringing that value out like a damp towel. He's like, give me that value. After that, I have a massive backlog. God of War, Ragnarok, both Horizon games, both Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, Miles Morales and Spider-Man 2, Elden Ring, and Demon's Souls, Cyberpunk 2077, High Rush, Persona 3 and 4, and 2, many more. Many of these I started but dropped for whatever reason. Same. I really need to find a way to curb my desire to 100% every game, which makes each new game a major project rather than something fun. Yeah. I'm glad that I don't have that where I need to 100% stuff. Although I do feel the need to dig into my backlog and really make a good effort to finish it. That's kind of why I haven't bought Dragon's Dogma 2 or Stellar Booty yet. But I'm almost to the end of Miasma Chronicles, and maybe after that I'll be able to devote much more to something else. So maybe Capes. I forgot to tell you I played Capes this this week too, and that's another tactical game, and maybe I'll play that one. It's the same as Miasma Chronicles, except it's about superheroes. Yeah, and I've been really enjoying that game. So maybe when I finish my Miasma Chronicles, because I like the combat and I'm finding that I really like that combat, maybe I'll go and play Capes next. So who knows? But yeah, Kev, any things that popped into mind after hearing Goonies and Chase's responses?
Pretty much the backlog. That's really. I think the only kind of like new games I want to get would be like EDF 6 and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I know I think Paper Mario is already out. I just haven't gotten around to picking it up. And yeah, EDF 6. That's really all I can think of on the immediate horizon for me. But it's the backlog for the summer months for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're all, I think, let me know if you think this is a great idea, listeners. Why don't we put our money where our mouth is? The three of us. Why don't we pledge? We'll pledge to beat 3 games this summer. Maybe 3, maybe 2, because I know you guys are working, and I'm getting ready to get a job right now. If you didn't know, I got a conditional job offer, so it looks like I'll start working in the next couple of weeks. So I'm thinking, we put our money where our mouth is, and we have a bet, and just a similar bet. All we have to do is beat 2 games this summer from our backlog. Can't be anything new.
What if it's more than 2?
I don't want to push anyone, because sometimes life gets in the way. So I'm saying I think it's fine for us to beat 2 games. Because I know Kev got some other stuff going on. I probably will have some other stuff going on, and I know, well, you don't have anything going on, Joe. So maybe you can do more, but still, just kidding. So I'm saying we complete. I'm talking complete. I mean beat. Doesn't have to be 100%. We're not doing Goonie times. Just 2 games that we beat, and the person that does not beat the 2 games has to buy the other 2 dinner. So
are you talking about cheeseburgers? Are you talking about?
I'm talking about a real
buy 2 get 1 free. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about a real dinner, like a real dinner, and it has to be something from our backlog. So I'm thinking something that came out in like 2023 and later. Something from our backlog, nothing new. So like I can't use Miasma Chronicles because that came out in 2024, I think. So I couldn't use Miasma Chronicles, but something from 2023 and later.
Earlier, you mean?
Earlier. That's what I mean, earlier. What do you guys think of that? Think about it. We'll come back on our next show and think about if we want to do that or not. Let us know.
Let's sink the deal while the getting's good, while the iron is hot. I'm down to commit. Are you down to commit, Kev?
To be honest, 2 might be stretching it for me.
See, that's what I said, because you have a lot
2
of stuff
might be stretching it for me.
Think about it.
Yeah, I'll have to actually look at the backlog of games that I have that's older and
exactly
look at which one would be I could conceivably finish during the course of summer.
That's a smart man, right?
So that's what it's gonna be based off.
Yeah,
Xbox Game Pass.
No, Xbox Game Pass. Get out of here.
Oh, come on, there might be some easy games on Xbox Game Pass.
It's gonna be a game that I already have. It's gonna be one that I already have. I ain't.
Yeah, I gotta look for it.
I'm not doing Barbie's horse adventure type stuff here.
And it can't be a roguelite. It's got to be over like 20 hours. Like you got to put some time into it. So that's what I'm thinking.
Dig in my backlog.
Okay. So everybody, listen. It has to be from the beginning. So if you pick up a game, it can't be something you started. You're gonna pick up in the middle of. Like it has to be. Like, come on now. So I think we could do this. 2 games has to come out 2023 or earlier, and gotta be 2. So let us know in the comments if you think this is a good idea. The stakes would be whoever does not complete the 2 will buy the other 2 or other 1 dinner. So if all 3 of us win, We all go out for dinner just to celebrate that we actually completed it. Pay for our own meals.
Okay.
That's what I mean. We pay for our own meals.
All right. Okay. I was going to ask if there was like a time limit on this, so it doesn't sound like there is one. So,
well, the time limit, it's summer.
I mean,
the
with
time
summer,
limit,
yeah,
the
but I
time
mean,
limit would
like
have to be
by
like
this
in
date
September.
during summer, in summer, you have to have done this, that. Okay, so as long as we're not doing that.
Yeah, no. Well, I was thinking because I'm thinking whenever the end of summer is, because there's a specific date on the map, on the calendar that says this is the beginning of fall. So we could do it by that. We could do it Memorial Day because that's Labor Day, because that's technically the end of summer, but and this is the beginning of July, so I was thinking, okay, 3 months, we could probably do that. So again, everybody, let us know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll go from there, and we'll see what happens.
I just created a channel in the Discord, so.
Oh Lord, this man loves creating
Summer
channels.
Backlog Bet. Summer
back. I don't think we should call it a bet. I think we should call it a summer backlog bonanza.
That sounds like a shopping spree. That sounds like a shopping spree.
Bet is fine. It's just I know we're getting known for our
ain't
bets.
Buying nobody nothing.
No.
I ain't gonna buy nothing.
I'm gonna beat my games. I'm gonna beat my games. So y'all.
I'm gonna beat. Oh, look at me! I'm Desmond.
Yeah. So.
How long to beat? I'm gonna go find in my backlog. I got a huge ass backlog. I'm winning this.
Oh, it could be, and again, it could be from any system too. It doesn't have to be PS5. It could be PS4. It could be Switch. It could be even Xbox. So just it has to be a game that you've wanted to play. I think that's a really good disclaimer. It has to be a game that you really wanted to play. A game you really want to experience and beat and just enjoy. I mean, because again, this is a chance for us to get in there and actually play the games that we love. So that's why I'm putting it out there. So, having said that, thank you so much to Goonie and Chase. If you want to know how you can join the conversation, please stay tuned towards the end, and Kev will show you how you can join the Discord and email us and stuff like that. But what follows me. It's the Jabroni Gaming News.
All right, thank you so much, Des.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, first thing we're going to talk about this episode is that we got together on Thursday and we watched the PlayStation State of Play. So we got to see the showcase. It was a 35-minute presentation. A lot of different games were shown: PS5 games, PSVR 2 titles, and return of a lovable PlayStation mascot. So they led off the show showing off a new game from developer Firewalk. So this is the game from Firewalk, ex-developers of such games as Destiny and other titles. They unveiled Conquered, which is basically a 5v5 inspired, at least on the character designs, by Guardians of the Galaxy a little bit. So it looks like there's a lot of colorful maps that you could go through and very chatty characters if need be on there. I guess Sony's going back in, laying down the ducats on the free, not the free to play, mind you, but the multiplayer space on the gaming roulette wheels. So this game is coming out on August 23rd, but there is going to be an open beta previous to that date, and it's coming out for PS5 and PC. So it's launching day and date on both platforms on there. So this game is getting like a little divisive, as far as at least in the community a little bit. But we'll have to see how Conquered kind of comes out. So, Kev, what's your overall impressions of Conquered from what you saw from the trailer?
Well, you lose me with hero shooter.
Yeah.
That kind of takes me out of the equation. I'll say this: if SEI wants to compete with the likes of Fortnite and what's that other hero shooter that Overwatch, they got to make this free to play. You can't be charging $70 for this. A game that does not have a single player component. but it's going to give you weekly vignettes into the lives of the characters. You can't that this can't be a full price game.
Rumor right now is that it's going to be around the Helldivers 2 price point, which is $39.99. So
that's better. That's better. That's better. In my opinion, it should be free to play because you're gearing this both artistically. Looks like they're gearing this by the way they have their classification set up. You're gearing this. You're putting this in that established markets space. Plus, you got another game that's coming out that is going to be free to play. That's filled with Marvel characters. Roughly, arguably around the same time. I think the betas are going to be coming out within a month of each other.
Yeah.
Even if this thing is $30, which is damn better than full price, I cannot see this thing having any chance for success if it is not free to play. That's just me. That's not someone who does not play these types of games, has no interest in these types of games, but has seen how the successful ones have operated in the market. You can't plot your own course in this arena. You've got to follow the established pattern and offer something that the other ones are not doing.
For me, at least, I've never really got into liking a hero shooter, and there's like games like Overwatch, Paladins, Team Fortress 2 on there, and so the open beta is going to be the kind of selling point to me, at least, because if it's a $40 game where I could buy a reasonably priced season pass and something I enjoy playing, and especially how much I'd love to play the Crucible and Destiny 2. I always was the one roping you guys in to play that game mode on there. So I'm always down for a little multiplayer. It's just for Destiny 2, it was in a game that I really enjoyed and loved, that I wanted to enjoy the PvP elements of it as well. So I remember some Friday nights, Saturday nights, because I'm a single man, of course, firing up and playing Crucible for like 4 or 5 hours sometimes at some point. So
But I think we're skipping the most important controversy about this game. And I guess we would have to ask Jabroni Chief. I'll ask Jabroni Chief. Are there enough white people in this game for you, sir?
I am not incensed by any of the character designs. I don't run a race quotient in my game. And, I think that dorky guy, the dorky green alien guy, basically screams white dude even though he's not a white dude. So I don't get the race card, tacking on the, I need to have one at least white character. Like I think we're commenting in our chat the other day. If these people are so incensed that there's no quote unquote Anglo-American, white guy in this game, why don't they just put like the whitest character of them all? Maybe use like Matt Gates as like the character model, put
Name
a red hat on him. What?
Name him Loose Leaf.
Yeah, there you go. Give him a power. Make him a little orange. You could like either make him whiter than white or like a little orange tint and kind of go from there. So
that's silly.
Yeah, I don't get all the back and forth. I'm not into the whole discourse about they're taking away boobies out of my games and they're like gentrifying my games. It's like, get out of here with that crap. There's other things in this real world that needs balancing out. And I think the gaming world could be left alone. Thank you. So.
Yeah, it would be nice if they would let that happen. But yeah, hopefully they take a look at this and follow what the big boys have already established that have been successful. And hopefully this game offers something that the others don't, either in the gameplay loop or. But I don't even know how you can even do that with a hero shooter, because there's like established things that they all do. They're all powers based, right? So you have
Yeah.
to balance the powers against each other. So you kind of have to play this. You literally have to walk this balance beam of power. Not making one power too powerful, and creating a meta that takes away the creativity and ingenuity of it, of coming together as a team where everybody's literally running the same classes. So it kind of reminds me of fighting games in a way, where every time a new character is introduced, there comes in this whole series of nerfs and buffs that have to come into play, because either the new guy or new gal is OP, or the changes that they make to accommodate the new character makes a character from the old roster OP. So I do not envy the balance team that's over this project at all. They got the work
Nope.
cut out for them.
One thing to say about this project and everything is, like, Sony went ahead and went in and canceled Last of Us Factions, their multiplayer game. They canceled Twisted Metal, which was a games as a service game they were in development. So they've had numerous pretty much games in development they have canceled. So there's some reason, for whatever reason, that this game still survived that whole gambit of games getting canceled and pushed aside. And so maybe there is something in the sauce on this one. At least I'm hoping, that it survived all that. But,
I hate to say it, but I doubt it. I think that they had put a lot of stuff into it, and they're really hoping that this hero shooter will do well. I think that's what they're hoping for. And because hero shooters are great, people love them. They're like, yay, let's do this. And so I think that they had something that was really in a lot of people's I don't know. I just think that they're really thinking to themselves, well, as long as we're able to get some people in, it might not be bad. And I think that's kind of where they're at, and that's really a sad state if that's where they're going to put it. But I do believe that that's one of the reasons why they did it, because it was so close to be finishing. Might as well do it. I just wish it wasn't this, and I really do believe that they looked at the what you got with Guardians of the Galaxy and thought, hey, we could do that, but as a hero shooter. And I think if that it made it just a regular game and added a hero shooter elements to it later, like you could go into maybe an arena and do that with other people, that might have been a way to do it. I really believe that there has to be a way for them to, by they I mean the people who make these games, be able to marry the two genres. That way you can do an arena fight if you want, sort of like what Destiny did, but still have a single player narrative or a multiplayer narrative, and let people decide how they want to play. I'm surprised we're not getting more Destiny type games where you can basically have both, and it just seems kind of weird that we're not. So,
do you think this game would have greater chance for success if they would have forked over the cash for the Guardians license and maybe included characters, heroes, and villains from those movies or comics, and made them all, put them all give them powers and put it in a hero shooter?
I think it would have been great, but unfortunately Marvel already did that with Rivals, so that's going to come out. So Marvel literally looked at that and looked at Overwatch and said, hey, we have a slew of characters that we can do that with. Why aren't we doing this? So that's why I'm thinking Conquered is dead on arrival, because it has to compete with Marvel Rivals, and that game looks awesome. Like, I don't even like hero shooters, and I'm like, what? You give me a chance to play Spider-Man, fighting with Doctor Strange against someone else? That's not a bad thing, I'm kind of like,
And it's free to play.
And it's free to play, So I don't know what they're thinking about. Like, I really do not know what they're thinking about putting it in front of or putting it against Marvel Rivals, because it just looks, that game looks so good, and Conquer just doesn't. So I really hope that they're able to do something with this or make it work, because if not, someone's going to get fired, because,
I'm hoping they learn from Destruction All-Stars. If you remember Destruction All-Stars around the launch of the PlayStation 5, it was rumored that they were going to release it physically for $70. And they eventually made it a PlayStation Plus game, and it bombed, so. And that game in of itself by itself was fun, but it definitely wasn't worth $70. So
no,
and I'll have to check out the open beta on this one to kind of see if it meets the sniff test, if it's worthy of an investment or not, for me at least. So
are you going to play the open beta?
I'm going to check out the open beta. Yeah, I'll have the opportunity. I know. I was going to check out the open beta for Foam Stars. Never made my way around to that, but that kind of died on the vine because the microtransactions were too egregious. And people that actually played that game said that game is great from what they've played, but it never caught on because of the fact that Square Enix just charged a ton to make some money back on that game because it was still is on PlayStation Plus. So,
I think if I would have liked to have seen something done with the art direction that doesn't just scream hero shooter. There is this palette of colors that all the hero shooters seem to share. Pastels and bright colors, and it would have been nice to see them take a different art direction. And it has nothing to do with the nonsense going on with the cast. I mean, just take a different tone with the art direction. Maybe instead of making it so bright and colorful, maybe making it a little bit gloomy. Maybe making it a little bit more quote unquote realistic. I don't know. It just seems like, oh, it's Overwatch 3 or Overwatch 2.5 or Fortnite 2.5 or 1. Whatever. It just kind of, if you were to run these all three gameplay clips from all three of those games in random order in quick succession, I think you would be hard pressed to find someone who wasn't already plugged into that to be able to tell the difference between the three. Maybe Fortnite, because Fortnite kind of has like it looks like Fortnite. But if you were running this along with the other one, Overwatch, I think you'd be hard pressed to tell them apart. I think that I would have liked to have seen a better direction or different direction in their art.
Some people said it doesn't look Fortnite enough, meaning that it's basically, it looks colorful, but it's not looking like a Fortnite game. So at least that's something that they could put in their back pocket. And, there might be gamers out there that just want to play this type of game. I was looking at the top 40 top PSN games for last week. And like X Defiant bumped up to number 4 on the chart. It went up from I think it was 29th on the chart the previous week. And it's kind of nuts to figure out that there are people that are wanting to play. They had a 532% player spike.
That's a glow up right there.
Yeah. So, I mean, and a lot of people are talking about X Defiant. When, I played the beta, I thought the game was a turd. A piece of crap, but I'd have to go back, and if I want to dip my toe in that, check to see what that's all about and kind of go from there, because I do like Ubisoft games. There is a Division 2 faction in that game too. So, so there might be, something with Conquered that kind of catches the eye of a more casual player too. So we'll have to see if it does or not, so. But yeah, also shown after that, let me get back here. We'll kind of talk about the rest of the state of play. God of War Ragnarok was shown for PC, so it's coming out on September 19th, 2024, with all the goodies, including unlocked frame rates, DLSS, XESS and FSR support, as well as support for super ultra wide monitors on there. So I think for our PC gaming folk that basically are just wanting to game on PC, you're getting another first party Sony banger on its way for you. On their next game that was shown is a Megaforce Tecmo Koei, and it is Dynasty Warriors Origins. So Dynasty Warriors 9 did so bad that they had to go back to the drawing board, and what was shown on this trailer was quite excellent, it looks like here. And I was mentioning to the guys when we were watching it live as this, and I'm hoping that they've taken the lessons of what they've learned from working on more of the licensed Muso games like Dragon Quest and Persona, and also especially Hyrule Warriors, that they were going to take that and kind of reinvigorate the Dynasty Warriors franchise on there. So it looks a lot like this is like the current gen version of a Muso game from Omega Force, and so they kind of had a glow up. They even had a new Omega Force logo. And you actually play this time you don't get to select per se a faction. You get to create your own protagonist and kind of go into this world and go from there. And it looks like there was a lot of gameplay elements that were at least a little bit enhanced from the normal Dynasty Warriors formula. Dynasty Warriors 9 kind of went to an open world formula, and it kind of fell flat on its face. So I'm kind of taking a look if they could kind of ease that scale back. And what looked very graphically and competent for me to see this as a current gen Muso game. And it's coming out in 2025, so even though it was announced at the State of Play, it is coming out for PC, all Xbox consoles, including Series S and PlayStation 5. So we'll have to see once this kind of comes down, but I will give it a shot once it comes out. Des, what's your feelings on Dynasty Warriors Origins?
Well, I've always been a really big Dynasty Warriors fan. So the fact to see this, they're coming back and kind of taking what they learned from the last one, yeah, I'm kind of excited for it. So I will definitely give it a try. Whether I buy it or I play it at your house remains to be seen. But it does seem like it's going to be kind of fun, and I do like it. Like, it seems like it's not a traditional Dynasty Warriors where you're fighting the specific historical stuff. So I think that's really kind of cool, because now it's different enough that we can actually possibly create our own story, and I'm kind of excited about that. It's like I really hope that they're adding like the traditional Dynasty Warriors along with Empires. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
How about you, Kev? I know you loved some Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, and other titles in the Muso series. So,
yeah, it looked good. So I definitely. I mean, you really want to see a full-on gameplay reveal, of course, when it comes to gaming today. But what I saw, I was impressed with. I thought this was one of my. It was one of not better, but one of the best things I saw on the State of Play.
Yeah. Next game that showed was kind of threw me for a loop, but kind of got Dez's attention a little bit. This game called Infinity Nikki on here. So this game is being deemed as being an open world dress up adventure. So
with fighting.
There is some fighting, yes. You'll be using your powers to fight big monsters, chase after sheep, take pictures, ride giant flower stems through the air, and give fluffy doggos a tiny sponge bath on there. So crazy to find out that there was a Nikki series on mobile phones, but this is being designed by an ex-Nintendo director. So this is being produced, directed by someone that worked on Breath of the Wild that went over to this new company and is working on this title. So that's the reason why it kind of looked like, whoa, what's this game? It kind of caught me by surprise, because I wasn't expecting, seeing all the graphical cuteness of it, seeing these like little poses in the mix on there. So it is coming out for PlayStation 5. It's going to be available starting Q3 of 2024. It will be launching day and date both on mobile and also on PlayStation 5 on there. So So I guess that if you enjoyed Breath of the Wild and you want some cute, picturesque gameplay,
Mm.
with a waifu, dress them up, I think this might, catch a certain segment of gamers out there that want that kind of like Animal Crossing, like customization in the mix to be able to go ahead and craft certain outfits and basically do some open world business without going all crazy. I supposedly that there is going to be Zelda-like puzzles and shrines in the game, but they're not going to be super challenging on there. So, and as long as the game is fun, I might even give it a shot. I don't care about taking photographs of cute anime girls, or cute cats.
It's cats and stuff. Don't make it sound dirtier than it is.
No, it's not. It's not dirty whatsoever. So, yeah.
Oh gosh, I felt my testosterone levels drain every second this trailer was on the screen. I mean, I get it. It's for you can't say this not showcase, this state of play lacked variety. You can't say
for damn sure.
Can't say that. But I don't know if this is Darling Nikki's sister or cousin. Shout out if you recognize that Prince B-side. But yeah, this is going to be a skip for your boy. But hey, shout out to those. I could see maybe my niece. Well, I don't even think she would play this. I think this is maybe a little too saccharine for her.
Well, I think I'll play it. It could be fun. It's gonna be silly as hell, so I might have to play it.
What's the price point you would accept for this? If it's like $69.99, or you?
Nah, it's gotta be cheaper than that, sir.
Got it. Okay.
40.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think 40 would be okay.
Well, we'll check it out. There is a beta test sometime between July and September, so it's coming. So we'll give it a shot. So. Next game they showed was a new game called Ballad of Intaria. So, while we're watching this on the stream, I think I had the noted question, how come PlayStation won't have so many samurai games? And so this is not per se a samurai game, but it has very elements of Dark Souls. It's an ARPG on there. So you're playing, looks like a samurai protagonist with a baby, holding a baby
on your back. Yeah.
On your back, yeah. So the whole story of the game is like talking about dark ages and about the time of erosion, so on and so forth. But this game is actually going to be free to play. Crazy to imagine that, but it's a fantasy action RPG. You got a smile child clamped at your back at all times. It's unclear what the child actually does in the gameplay loop, but we got to kind of see some of the backgrounds of the game as far as the environments that you're able to go in and check out. But it's not going to be coming out until 2025, and like I stated previously, it is a free-to-play game. So that kind of threw up my eyebrows a bit as far as it being free to play, because all purposes it looked like it was a true blue, like full price AAA console game, at least from what it seemed like to me at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe at some point, maybe this is kind of similar to like say what they're doing with Genshin and with games of that type, where they're going to make it free to play and just monetize the season pass elements of it and whatnot. So what's your overall impressions of this game? I kind of like the look. I felt the music was great too. Kev, you just kind of catch your eye a little bit?
Yeah, it did. It looked impressive. It's the I kind of got a Sekiro vibe from it. It really threw me off when I found out that this was a free-to-play game. I'm wondering what the monetization is actually going to be. If it's going to be story, is it going to be story elements? Is it going to be, I mean, we know skins and whatnot are going to be a part of that, but I'm wondering how the monetization model is going to run.
Yep.
for a game that seems to look as good as this game did, running in engine actual gameplay. How are they going to monetize this? I don't know if it's free to play, I guess if you're paying for chapters, depending on their pricing structure, I guess that could fly, but I don't know. This really did look like a standalone game. So I don't know.
And it seems like they worked on a previous game called Pascal's Wager that came out for iOS and Android, and it's also on Steam. Came out for Steam, the definitive edition. And right now the reviews are mixed. I think on Steam the game is like $20. So
I've never heard of it.
yeah, I never heard of it either. But came out in it looks like in 2021. So it's been a while since they've been working on this. And so, I'll leave it up to throw some new developers in the showcase like this at least. Kind of similar, if you remember State of Play previously, that crazy ass ninja game that's a sequel to a mobile game that I remember sticking out as being like, wow, this looks crazy. But proof's in the pudding once it comes out and we're able to play it. So, and nothing's really stated as far as platforms other than PlayStation 5. It is definitely coming out for PS5, but it will probably be coming out for numerous platforms to kind of help support the free-to-play, monetization of this game. So why just limit it to one platform when you could have it on everything? So we'll have to see once it comes out. So, and then next game of note, it was mentioned by Des earlier, but Marvel Rivals is coming out. This is a big PvP shooter that is going to be on PlayStation 5 in July. So there is a closed beta coming in July that offers a exclusive Scarlet Spider-Man skin on there. So, but this is also, it's been out on mobile right now. And it's basically like if you took Overwatch and threw Marvel into the mix on here. So, and you could team up to perform big signature combo attacks and kind of go from there. I don't know if there's any Marvel fatigue out there, but I know this game, has it been blowing up a little bit, Des?
Yes, it has. A lot of streamers have been playing it, and early reviews are that it's pretty good. It looks good. I watched a couple of streamers play it. Again, it's not in my wheelhouse because I'm not a hero shooter fan, but if you like the Marvel characters and Overwatch, this game might be for you. It looks pretty good too, like the graphics and whatnot. So.
Oh, everything kind of popped a bit in my estimation.
It definitely is very colorful.
I definitely want to see how it plays. So maybe I'll, especially since it's free to play, kind of dip into that pool and see. It might be a great game that game if everyone kind of likes the way it plays. Kind of go from there. So, do you have any overall impressions of this, Kev, or are you kind of indifferent because it's free to play and a hero shooter?
Yeah, it's got two strikes against it already. Hero shooter and free to play, but I mean and I think it more has to do with this. To me, would be the type of game I would need a dedicated group of people to play with. I ain't jumping in randoms in a game like this. Like, no way, because you got to communicate with folks. If it's object based, unless they have, every man for himself type modes. If this is like Overwatch and all the other games of its ilk, it's objective based, so everybody has to play towards the objective, and that's going to require communication. And rando lobbies are just a cesspool of the lowest life forms of humanity. I'm just that has just been my experience over the years, and yeah, ain't nobody got time for that over here. So it would even if I did like these types of games, I would have to have a dedicated group of people to play with that I actually know.
Yeah.
Okay, next game that was shown was a game that we've already seen on previous Keighley Fest. It's a game called Where Winds Meet. So this game's been in development from a Chinese studio called Everstone. It's been in development for 5 years so far, and they are working on this game. It's basically they have worked on other titles, but this is their big game that they are working on. They are supported by NetEase, so NetEase is again another big Chinese studio, also the developer of Marvel Rivals, where this is an open world dynasty. Characters are basically the same characters that are in Dynasty Warriors, so it's kind of based in that kind of ancient China character design from characters from history, and it is an open world game, and so everything I've seen of this game, it just looks quite excellent. This is yet again another ninja game or samurai game, but I feel like when this one comes out, that I'm really curious to see how they handle the open world and the combat and kind of go from there. But I think the art style and definitely the music are spot on for me. At least it scratches that itch for me. So I definitely am keeping an eye on this one, and it is coming out for PS5. So, it looks like they got the agreement to launch this on PlayStation. So I'm there day one. I don't know about you guys. So
yeah,
looks good.
I was agreeing with him.
Yeah. So also shown, which I didn't care, and you guys can reference, is that it's a new trailer for the PS5 version of Until Dawn. So yet another remastered title for PlayStation 5. So we didn't get to see the Horizon Zero Dawn rumored remake, but we got to see at least a trailer for Until Dawn. So Until Dawn. It's also coming out for PC as well. So it's coming out in the autumn. So, if you want a spooky game to play for Halloween, by all means. But especially since, I'm not the biggest horror fan in the world, I don't see the need to remaster this thing. But God forbid, it seems like they want to take games in their back catalog instead of re-promoting them, just remastering them, and then maybe we're going to bring out a movie or a TV series along with it and kind of take that approach.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they would just do something new and allow their studios to work on something new versus remasters. It's the whole meme, if you want to, cap Microsoft Studios for play it on Game Pass, you could cap Sony for basically saying releasing tons of remasters this generation. So
there's got to be something in the algorithm that says it works.
Yeah,
these companies are not dumb. They don't do stuff that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Nope.
So they're getting some data that says that there is money in remasters. Capcom has been living off remasters for a minute. So, and they've been very good. They've been very good. So, I think between Monster Hunter and remasters, Capcom is sitting prettier than it's ever been financially. So it works. I never played Until Dawn originally, so this would be, if I were to get it, this would be a first time playthrough for me. But I don't know. I'm when I sit down to play a game, I'm here to play a game, not an interactive movie. And that part never really gelled with me. So I don't know. This at most, this would probably be a rent, or I'll wait till it comes to PS Plus, which it inevitably will.
If I was interested in playing Until Dawn, guess what? I have it on my PlayStation Plus catalog. It's there to play. They haven't pulled it, so I could play the PS4 version all day and night long if I wanted to, but I don't. So I'll have to see about that. But next game they showed, Path of Exile 2. So speaking of Diablo, this is grinding gears, kind of ARPG goodness. So showed a lot of the meat and potatoes of this game. Of course, they showed that the console version will be adding couch co-op, as well as cross-play and cross-progression. It will get an early access launch across all platforms, including PS5, in late 2024. We'll probably see an announcement right when the Game Awards pop off. Probably be a shadow drop. Who knows? But I'll have to see as far as Path of Exile. Look good to me. ARPGs, especially a good built one from the ground up, scratches that loot itch in my soul and my inner workings of my being. So I think this one looks good. Might have a combat that Kevin will say, quote unquote, does not put you to sleep on here. Might be enough complexity to it if need be. So
It looked good. It definitely looked good. But then Diablo looks good too. So it's I'll have to see. But it there was a lot going on. So if it can if it can keep my attention, I'd be willing to give this a playthrough.
well, the thing about Path of Exile, and I think Path of Exile 2, is that it is free to play. So it's a little bit less of a barrier to entry than buying Diablo outright. So,
Oh, okay.
so so
I'm gonna play it.
Yeah, Path of Exile 1 is free to play as well. So we'll wait for Path of Exile 2 if that's the case. So next thing shown, which we'll talk about very briefly, is the Silent Hill 2 remake, which is coming out on October 8th. Looked good for me, but I'm not a big horror fan. Kev, is there any interest in replaying the Silent Hill 2? Or?
Yeah, because it's been forever since I played the first one. I remember liking the first one a lot. The only thing that has me a little bit apprehensive is that they're trying to turn this into Resident Evil. Like there seems to be a lot more combat focus than the original had. There's something there. I don't remember everything that happened in Silent Hill 2 because again, it's been so long since I played the original. But there was an air of vulnerability, if I can speak correctly, as you're going through this fog-infested town and meeting these characters and enemies that look like straight out of a nightmare, even for the day. I mean, that. And you weren't some superhero, some special forces soldier. You were just a regular dude trying to find your wife who supposedly died, and you get this letter, and you're going to meet her in Silent Hill, and there's just like this constant vulnerability that's built into the gameplay because maybe you can take on an enemy one-on-one, but when 2 or 3 show up, you got to run because you do not have the skills. And what they were showing is it looks like dude went to boot camp. I mean, he's got crowbars and shotguns, and
He's about to be taken out.
He's putting in work, which I mean, I dig that. Don't get me wrong, I dig that, but I just hope that it doesn't take away what made Silent Hill 2 so special from a gameplay environment perspective. It's one thing when you know that you're not this trained soldier. It's something else when you got double barrel shotguns, handguns, crowbars, and you're just splitting skulls all the way through. So.
I don't know. He might have learned something. I doubt it, but still, you never know.
But yeah, I'm interested. I'm definitely interested in playing. I'm definitely going to play it. I hear people saying that's ugly and it looks last gen. I think they are trying to capture the look and if not necessarily the feel, but the look of the old Silent Hill 2 game, which can backfire. When people think are ready want a next gen, glow up, it's like, yeah, but it just looks dated. And I think for some things it's going to work. I think Konami seems to think. Is it Konami or is it
Konami is publishing it? It's being developed by drawing a blank now, but it's the same the Bloober team.
Okay.
Yeah, same team that's done numerous horror games. So
Okay, I think Bloober Team is hoping that I would call this the memory filter, the nostalgia filter that they're putting on this is going to bring fans of the original back. Sometimes that works. Most times it doesn't, because right now a lot of people are saying this does not look like a PS5 game, and it doesn't. It looks like an upgraded what you played on the PS2, which is I think that's going to be a hard sell, particularly in this current day gaming environment where we've got PlayStation 5s and Series X's and talk of pro consoles coming in the next few months. Yeah, that's kind of a hard sell for some people.
yeah, for sure. Well, the next game that they showed is not a hard sell for any of us here on this podcast, and that is Capcom's Monster Hunter Wilds on here. So this is a big story trailer that was shown. We got to see a lot of different things as far as gameplay introduction to this title on here. So we got to see the 2 new handlers, and a Palico that is actually talking. And there's a mysterious child as well on here. So the
Always
biomes,
a mysterious child.
of course, yeah. There's biomes in this game that can transform in unexpected ways. So you got the Windward Plains, and then you also have a number of different new creatures on there. And it looks great to me. I mean, obviously in the Windward Plains, they had this new character, new monster named Dashaguma on here, and so everything looks great. I mean, it's Monster Hunter. It's like, well, all 3 of us are going to be there day one. They talked about the new, they showed the new mount, which is called Secrets, spelled Seikrets on here. So they could guide you to destinations. They could allow you to perform actions on the go. You could sharpen your weapons, gathering materials, and actually using the slinger like you did on the previous mounts on there, and you could actually swap to a secondary weapon on the mount. So you could basically use a secondary attack while on your mount to be able to attack. So all 14 weapon types are returning. Obviously, there's going to be new actions that will be available to all the weapon types on here. So there's also going to be brand new systems, including focus mode, which will give you more precise control over aiming, guarding, and attacking monsters' weak points. And there's also a new evolved hook slinger on there. So if you remember the hook from Monster Hunter World on there, it basically is returning and giving you some more actions on there and be able to go ahead and collect things from a distance, even while mounted. So if you do have played Monster Hunter World previously or Iceborne, you're able to get bonus items as well once you buy the game. So it's a foregone conclusion on this thing. So, but there's also going to be another trailer shown at the Summer Games Fest. So if you happen to be watching Keighley Fest coming up, keep your eyes peeled. And they're going to have a on-stage appearance from both the producer and the director of the game. So Des and Kev, I'll go to you first. Des, any thoughts about Monster Hunter Wilds?
Do we need to say anything more than day one get?
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
I don't know.
Pretty much it. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I more. Like, give me more. Let's do this. I'm here for this. I'm ready for this. You should have came out this year, but whatever. That should have been my teppanyaki, not Joe's. But
hey, you got the teppanyaki. You just had to pay for it. That's all. Yeah.
So, but yeah, totally here for it. I don't know what else to say except release it already.
Release it when it's done. That's what I say.
No,
next
Let
year.
them cook. Let them cook. Let them
I
cook.
know we're supposed to say that, and that's the good thing you're supposed to say, but I want it now. Oh, please give it to me now.
I mean, is any part of you missing, after seeing this? Like, you wanting to see another, like, Rise sequel or something like that?
Nope.
You think Rise 2 might show up on the
Nope.
Switch?
Maybe on the Switch
Switch 2? Yeah.
Maybe on Switch 2, probably. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. Monster Hunter, pays the bills, so that's fine. Give me more.
Yeah.
Just give me more. I don't care. Just give me more. I'm here. Yum. Feed me. Let's go. So yeah, I don't know what else to tell you except I'm ready.
All right. We are all ready. So.
Yeah.
All right. And last thing was shown, but this was rumored. I think we mentioned previously on last show, but they have finally announced a new Astrobot game. So simply titled Astrobot. This is coming from Team Asobi, Sony Interactive Entertainment. It's going to launch on September 6th. Pre-orders are going to open up on June 6th, which is this upcoming Thursday on there. It's receiving a box copy, but some people got butthurt because they wanted Astro to return to VR, but that would entail Sony supporting the VR headset of theirs on the PS5. That's not going to be the case. So you're able to dive in 6 galaxies, 80 levels. I think they mentioned there's like 150 appearances from different PlayStation characters all throughout the PlayStation IP catalog on there. So, if Sony had something close to a Mario game, I think this would be it, and I'm all there for it. So I finished Astro's Playroom in its entirety, so this might be a game, especially if one of us hasn't completed Astro's Playroom. Maybe the backlog buster. This would be a prime backlog buster, if I could tell you that right now, as far as finishing Astro's Playroom on that backlog. Because this game looks phenomenal. I'm all there for it. I am there day one. I am buying the physical. I do not care. Even if it's $69.99, I will buy it. So what you guys' overall impressions of Astrobot?
Looks good. I was never really a big Astrobot fan because I never really got into it or played it or anything. Maybe that's my loss, but I think I might have to play this one.
Yeah, the thing is, something tells me that this would make a great pack-in for the PS5 Pro. I'm kind of wondering if they.
You think
Yeah,
it will?
I'm kind of. It would make a good. It would be good. Like the first Astrobot was a pack-in for the PS4 or the PS5. PS5.
Yeah.
I could see this game being a pack-in with the Pro.
That would be interesting. I think people would buy it. We were going to buy it anyway, but I think that should just be icing on the cake.
I could definitely
kind of bring it old school because this reminds you of a Sonic or Mario game packed in the box.
Mm-hmm.
So and that was PlayStation State of Play. So overall, what's your overall letter grade for the show? I'll give it to you first, Des.
I'd probably give it a solid B. Just games I wanted to play, games I didn't want to play, and overall, they didn't waste any time. That's what I liked about it. In and out, show some gameplay, show what you got on the slate, and then we're out the door. That's what I liked about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of in that same B plus range. I saw a lot of games that I wanted to play. I saw some games that really didn't do anything for me. But I think this was a solid state of play. I mean, and again, the gaming community is very strange. I don't know what people want. And it's not even about making excuses for a company. It's like when they tell you that it's a state of play, why how come why didn't I see Wolverine? They should have showed me this. It's not a showcase. It's a state of play. They have made it very clear that there's this distinction between this. Now, if you didn't like what you saw, that's one thing. But the things that people are saying, like, well, these games all suck. Everything is all subjective, which is fine. But then you got people saying, well, they didn't have variety. I mean, you got Infinity Nikki, for crying out loud.
Yeah, right.
In the middle of a whole bunch of samurai games, which is topped off by Astrobot. It's like, I don't know how much more diverse of content you can get, if you're not outside of Nintendo. I don't know. I just kind of think that today's gaming culture is just so whiny and complainy. It not that not that developers don't deserve to be held accountable for what they do, but at the same time, you kind of wonder why anybody even wants to get into this field. By the way, because now everybody has a voice, which is fine, but these voices are used in some of the most toxic ways possible. And I just wonder how developers feel, what their mental state is every time they log into Twitter, especially, and just see the waves of bullshit that is just going on about the stuff that they're working on, the stuff that they're doing. Someone should do a study on how on the mental state of developers, because hopefully they just turn that stuff off and just focus on their work. You really can't do that, especially when so much of even a part of your pay in some aspects, depending on who you're working for, depends on what your Metacritic score is. So I don't know. I saw a lot of stuff that I liked from this show, and money will be spent.
Yep. I don't want to be the hive mind, but B plus for me. So Monster Hunter really amped it up, in my opinion. Astrobot, I mean, there's enough quality here. I mean, obviously Monster Hunter is going to come out and it's going to be great, but to be a part of this show is kind of cool too on there. So, I didn't come in with big expectations since it was a state of play, and that's not a, quote unquote showcase. I wasn't expecting new hardware to be announced here or anything like that. I'm curious to see if they're going to keep the same cadence as they did previously, where I think they didn't have anything in June, like around the time that Microsoft and Ubisoft and the Jeffs are all busting out, that they showed something later on in the summer, I believe, if I remember correctly. That's when they announced the PlayStation Portal on there. So we'll probably see something else from PlayStation coming up in the middle or later part of summer. So we'll see what's going on with them. If they got anything above and beyond, maybe we'll get to see what Naughty Dog's doing and kind of move forward. And then from there, the team that I'm really curious about too is the team that not Insomniac, but I'm thinking of the team that did Ghost of Tsushima.
Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what they're doing on there.
Well, it's Ghost 2.
Yeah.
It's Ghost 2.
I'm just hoping to go back to Infamous. I think Infamous might be cool to bust out again. So, and who knows? Maybe they'll bring something new to the table too. You gotta let these companies and these developers cook. I mean, if they want to do something different, let them do something different. They want to be creative. Let them be creative. So
I think, and it doesn't matter if it's Sony. I think there are developers throughout the whole breadth of the gaming business that write their own ticket, and I think Sucker Punch is writing their own ticket, just like Naughty Dog, just like Guerrilla. I don't think. Or if they are doing it, it would be foolish to do. I'll say that because none of us are in these meetings. You let these guys work on what they want to work on. Nobody wants to say Red Dawn, what was that vampire game that came out?
A Redfall.
Redfall. Nobody wants a Redfall. You got to let these people work on what they want to work on, and when they've established themselves as a top tier studio, you got to let them do what they want to do. If Sucker Punch wants to put out Ghost 2, let them. If they want to bring out Infamous, let them. If they want to do something completely new, you gotta let them, because we already know what the quality of the work is going to be at the end of the day, and that quality of work is going to result in millions sold.
So, yeah, let them cook. Let them do what they got to do. Like I'm with you though. I want to see what new game is coming, because it's time, and maybe they're waiting for the PlayStation 5 Pro or whatever. But I think we're gonna see some really good stuff coming in the future.
We'll see what they're working on. We'll get to see what Ben Studio's working on. I think Days Gone was really good in a lot of people's eyes, but Sony didn't tend to think so because Days Gone 2 should have been in development. But we'll have to see what kind of moves forward from first party Sony. Hopefully they give them enough time, and I think if they get away from this mandate to make everything games as a service, I think that's even better. So we'll see what happens. So. Yeah, speaking of Sony, they had not a press conference, but more of an investor meeting on there. So Herman Hulst kind of spoke at this meeting with some business people and investors, and they explained about live service games and day-to-day on PC for PlayStation. And they basically said that their plans, they are quote-unquote remaining more strategic with single-player and narrative-driven titles, as the company hopes that will entice PC owners to play any subsequent sequels on the PlayStation console. So Herman Hulst said, "Indeed, we are bringing our titles to the PC platform, and we have a dual approach here. On the live service side, we're releasing our titles simultaneously, so day and date on PlayStation 5 and PC. But with our tentpole titles, our single-player or narrative-driven titles that are the backbone of what PlayStation Studios has delivered in recent years in our history, we are taking a more strategic approach. We introduce our great franchises to new audiences, and we're finding new audiences that are potentially going to be very interested in playing, for example, sequels on the PlayStation platform." So they're hoping that this strategy will bring new players into the PlayStation ecosystem at large, but into PlayStation platforms specifically. So they're basically also taking this approach with multimedia properties like The Last of Us and Gran Turismo movie, basically trying to bring new people onto the PlayStation platform. So they're going to continue to take this approach for PC titles, where they're going to bring the PC version out later for all these big single-player story-driven games on there. So kind of just reiterated what they've been doing previously, because I don't think this dual approach is anything new. This is just a reiterative, if I could pronounce this word properly, on there as far as what they're taking. So, I mean, any comments on this, Kev? I mean, I know you lost that steak bet, but this is like modus operandi for Sony.
Yeah, well, it was time. Time wasn't on my side. It was literally days, which a difference in days. So I feel like I won the war but lost the battle.
Got it.
But to me, when I hear this just tells me that there is still value in the console, and I find encouragement in that. Day and date with multiplayer stuff, that only makes sense. It only makes sense. But I don't think particularly after the nonsense that happened over Helldivers 2 and what's going on with even with Ghost of Tsushima and what's going on with God of War, they can't be convinced that they are going to make hardcore PC people buy a console. I think this was a roundabout way of saying, "Hey guys, we're still putting console first." I think I would have preferred them to just go out and say that outright, but when I hear all that rigmarole about, we got this and we got the two-pronged approach, it's the same thing they've been doing. To me, I hear we haven't forgotten who brought us to the dance. And for someone who is going to be playing console no matter what, at least until they stop making physical media, then I'll take another look at PC. That's good news. It means that there is still value in inherent value, because these guys, and I don't want to lump everybody into groupthink, but I've said it before, and I stand by it. As a whole, PC gamers are just built different. They will wait till the cows come home to get a game on, not just on the platform, but on the store that they prefer, which nine times out of 10 is going to be Steam.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is that when you look at Steam's analytics for the level, of the console, of not console, of the types of PCs that are running, that are playing the game, they're actively playing games on the Steam front. They're not the 4090s. I mean, you would think everybody has a 4090 that has a PC gaming channel. No, it's 1080p running on rigs that are generating 1080p, 60, maybe 120 frames per second, anywhere from medium to high settings. That's the sweet spot. And really, that's a little bit less than an optimized PS5, Xbox Series X game. And they haven't upgraded from that. I don't think that they behind the scenes think that they are going to convince a dedicated PC gamer, particularly one who actually was running a high end rig, that, okay, I'm just going to dip in here and spend another $4.99, maybe, $5.99, whatever price point the PS5 Pro comes in at, so I can get the sequel to this game that I'm really digging. I don't think they think that. But I do think they want to tell their fan base, who's maybe looking at this and reading between the lines, of a company that's producing software, the company that started out, the thing that made them stand out was only on PlayStation, which has changed as the generations have moved on. But I think their roundabout way of saying that there is still value in the box, meaning that there's some stuff that is just going to be only on PlayStation, and it's going to be that way for a certain amount of time. Not all games, but there's going to be enough of them that it's going to make the investment of this box worth their while, particularly if you're not inclined to play on PC.
I saw an editorial that talked about that, Sony's taking PC gamers for granted, So, but, it's an opinion that someone might have, I mean, obviously, if you care that much about getting a sequel to a game that you enjoy that is published by PlayStation on Steam, on PC, and you want to play it, guess what? They got to give them time for Nixis and for the other porting houses that they have internally to be able to bring the game over to PC with the proper support that they need to have when they release a game on PC. Because, when Horizon Zero Dawn came out for PC, half-baked, they caught a ton of shit. So
they did. Sure and you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna sound real petty, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I don't care if they're taking you for granted. We're the ones that bought the box. We're the ones that went out and bought the controllers. We're the ones that went out and bought the headsets for these boxes. I want them to take care of me first. Then they can take care of y'all. Because it's consumers like us, and I say us, I'm speaking specifically of myself. I guess we can say all three of us, since all three of us primarily game on console. It's people like us that brought them to the dance. So yeah, I expect them to take care of me first before they take care of them. I'd be feeling some type of way if they weren't. So, I mean, you're taking us for granted. It's like, it's the people that are saying stuff like that. They ain't buying these games. If anything, they're pirating that stuff. Some of these PC dudes are some of the weirdest jokers you come across. If you just mention you like a console game, some of these guys just interject themselves into a discussion that doesn't include them. And I know I'm not including all PC gamers. I'm not doing that. Just the ones that seem to make the most noise seem to be the most annoying. And I guess you find that in all sectors, where they're talking PlayStation, Xbox, but particularly PC. Some of these guys are just so freaking annoying. And I've experienced some of that stuff firsthand, going to message boards on Steam asking about help to, for the game not functioning correctly. I submitted a question on Steam boards for one of the Transformers games that was kind of glitching out on me, and I didn't get any help. I didn't, if you can't help me, don't even respond. But instead, it's like, you should know this shit by now, or why are you asking such a stupid question? It's like, that's not really a great way to make people who are maybe new to the platform, like I was, feel welcome. And I get it. I'm not a snowflake. I don't need to be coddled. But at the same time, if I'm asking a question in what is supposed to be a message board, if you don't feel like answering the question, it took you more time to respond like an asshole than it would have for you just to ignore the question. You get my meaning? You understand what I'm saying? So this is just kind of like the vibe I get from these hardcore PC gamers, and it's part personal experience, and it's part what I see online. And I know I don't apply that particularly to the PC gamers that are in the GV community. Y'all are great, love y'all, but man, some of y'all leave much to be desired. That's all I'll say. But yeah.
All right. Other news that we have, just real briefly, Atari has bought the Intellivision brand. It has ended the longest-running console war. So Atari now owns the rights to over 200 games from the Intellivision portfolio and its trademarks on here. However, Intellivision Entertainment will continue developing and distributing the Amico console under a new brand, and with a license from Atari to distribute new versions of Intellivision games on that console.
Oh my gosh, y'all, just stop. Can we stop? Can we stop acting like this Amico is actually going to become too? Can we just stop, please? It's like, it's like you done stabbed Dracula through the heart. He's already dying. Now you're just twisting it just to be mean. That thing ain't coming out. If that thing is coming out, then I'm the dang Queen of England. No, it is. It is not coming out, y'all. They done shit in too many people's bowls of cereal, from investors to early adopters. People like me that were early supporters, saw the writing on the wall and got the hell out.
Smart.
But do you know that I think it was as recently as last year that they had Amico had conned somebody was asking them about what's going on with their, I think it was $7,000 investment, and they hadn't heard an update. And this person made this known on their it wasn't whatever I think GoFundMe threw them off. I'm not sure if it wasn't GoFundMe, it's on some other fundraising website, and crickets, just crickets. It is just, when Tommy Tallarico is getting, when the console was originally supposed to come out, and Tommy is like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm starting Video Games Live concert tour, peace. And he walks away from his position at the company. He's like, I'm out. I made my money. I'm out.
I'm watching on YouTube, published on March 22nd, 2022, the official unboxing of the Intellivision Amico. So
That shit ain't coming out.
yeah, no.
It's not coming out.
Well, good on Atari for at least taking the IP away from
Yeah.
Intellivision Entertainment. Even though I'm not sure if they're going to use the money that they've gotten from this licensing deal to do anything in particular to get this Amico out, but
Yeah, no, they're not. They'd be crazy to do that if they should just let that stuff just gasp out and die.
yeah. What me and Des did after the State of Play on Thursday is we watched the Marvelous showcase that was broadcast on Thursday, and one of the games that was shown was a new Rune Factory Project Dragon on here, and the game looked kind of crazy. The two main protagonists, either Subaru, not the car, but the character, or Kagura, use the power of dance to interact with the world. So you're basically, they both attack with the power of dance to communicate and interact with the world around them. So they have weapons like parasols and drums, and then they have series staple weapons like swords and brand new weapon types to experiment with, including bows and talismans. So what was shown of Rune Factory Guardians of Azuma seems like they knocked out of the park with it. I really liked what I saw of it. Des, what's your overall feelings on the new Rune Factory game?
Yeah, look pretty good. I mean, it seems like they really are leaning more into the combat aspect of it,
Yeah.
and the how you work within the world you're in and how you are perceived. So I was kind of cool with it. I was like, okay, it really did throw me for a bit of a loop because I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, I'm kind of cool with it.
Yeah.
I really am like, I think I want to see what's happening. So yeah, I think I'm gonna be doing something with that. I mean, I already have the other ones, and I've really enjoyed all of the ones that I've played before. So it just really makes sense that I'm probably going to end up getting this one as well. So
Yeah. I mean,
especially with the addition to the this like new fighting thing that you're doing, I thought they were really really cool.
yeah, I thought it would look cool too. I think if they emphasize on the combat more and the farming less, and I like the motif with the like medieval Japanese world that they have going on with the game. I think it looks pretty nice. So keeping an eye out for that. Also, Marvelous showed also the new Diamond X Machina game, which we just saw a teaser trailer for, but looked quite excellent. So I bet you anything, you're just waiting for the announcement for Switch 2 to announce that thing. But if you like mech games, keep an eye on that. Also, Square Enix has announced that the long-awaited Dragon Quest III HD 2D title is confirmed for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series console, Switch, and PC. So they said that is coming out. They did not announce a release date. They have a teaser trailer talking about that they are soon to announce the game. We'll probably see more during the Keyleys coming up next week. So, and then Tamba, if you remember Tamba, that game from PS1, including that pink-haired caveman dude flinging pigs along the way. It's coming out for PlayStation 5, Switch, and PC via Steam on August the 1st, and coming out for PlayStation 4 at a later date. This is from developer and love them. Limited Run Games is bringing out the remastered version of this particular title. So we'll have to take a look at that. At least if I could buy it digitally, by all means, I think I'll want to buy it digitally versus waiting a year and a half for a physical version. So
yes.
Take a look at that. I like Tamba. I think it'd be fun. If Limited Run can get the scratch to get Capcom to let them do a new Maximo, I think.
Oh man, wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, I think I would be there day one. Even if Capcom dared to do a Maximo like HD remaster or something, be day one. But I'll take a look for Tamba. Tamba 1 is quite expensive if you try to buy the original. So and it's from the original developer of Ghouls and Ghosts. So he's done this particular title. So I kind of like the original PS1 game, so I'm keep an eye out for this bad boy from there. But that is the Jabroni Gaming News for this fine episode. So,
all right, so that's going to bring us to game night and mentioning our new night of Tuesday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's the day of the week that we set aside to play games with our community, with our growing gaming vessels Discord community. So if you'd like to be a part of that, the way you do is to hop on over to the app formerly known as Twitter, currently known as X, and go to @GamingVessels, GAMINGVESSELS. Click the link and you're in. So there's no merch. There is no Patreon tier list that we're asking you to pay for. We just ask that you be a good person, likes talking about games, and can do without the personal insults. So if all that stuff sounds good to you, I think you'll find a happy home on the GV Discord. So big shout out to Chase and Goonie, two of our longstanding members, what I call the generals, taking part in our vessel line this week. Thank you, gents, for making this episode a little bit more interactive, so that allowing us to bring a little bit more to the table for our listeners. Special kudos to you two fine gentlemen. So with that said, that's going to bring episode 248 to a close. We want to thank y'all for chilling out, hanging out with us. So for Dez, a.k.a. the Bay Area Terror, a.k.a. the high-res lover slash hater.
That's me.
A.k.a. the Cat Daddy, a.k.a. that gamer stepdaddy, and for Trader Joe, a.k.a. Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of Gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. I'm Shown of 71, a.k.a. Dickadulamite.
Bling bling, y'all. Never forget, y'all.
And we'll be back next time, episode 249 for your ears. Peace, and thank you.
You're welcome.